Video games that made me who I am. Now, video games are a passion that I've had for, probably like almost over like 15, 16 years of my life. Going on. And I feel like I've seen videos of a bunch of YouTubers showing games that made them the people that they are, that made up their childhood. So I figured I'm gonna do one for my own to show my viewers how much I care about video games, how much I love this industry, and sometimes how much I hate it. But yeah, I'm gonna show you all the games that made me into the person that I am today. So starting off, we're gonna go with a classic here. Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. Yes, this bad boy, he's gonna be right here on my list. So Lego Star Wars, man, like, what can I say about this game? If y'all had a childhood, I think that you would be playing this game. This game came at a time for me when I was a kid. It was a childhood favorite. Like, my dad and my cousins had just introduced me to Star Wars. I fell in love with the series when I was younger. I just absolutely fell in love with the game. I honestly remember when I was younger, I would sneak over to my friend's house to go and play the game. Even when he wasn't there, his parents were there. They'd be like, "Hey, what's this kid doing here? What's he doing here?" I'd go to play on his GameCube because I didn't have a game console. And then when I did get a game console, I got an Xbox 360 for my grandma, and I played this game literally every single day. I would try and beg my parents to try and let me play, and sometimes they caved, sometimes they didn't. But damn, this game was incredible. It had all 6 films, and it was just absolutely incredible game with gameplay, with customization, with the silly jokes, everything. It was just absolutely an incredible time. Now, next up on the list. Oh, this one's a doozy. But I mean, it's similar to the last game. I'm gonna try to shrink it in size a little bit. And then the next game we got, damn it. The next game we got, boom, Lego Indiana Jones, the original adventures. Okay, so damn it, can I shrink this? There we go. Oh god, that's small, but I mean, whatever. Once again, another fantastic game. Once again, another game by LucasArts, because obviously made by the same people who Indiana Jones was made by the same people who made Star Wars. George Lucas, freaking awesome films. I got introduced to Indiana Jones immediately after Star Wars and Jurassic Park when I was younger. And my god, these games were freaking incredible. I've spent, once again, with this game, I spent hours playing. I remember purchasing this game at Costco. At freaking Costco. I went and bought this game with the $50 that I had earned from doing chores, from doing jobs for my neighbors. This game, I wanted it so bad, and I finally got it, and it was worth every single penny. And remember all the phobias that everyone had in this game. And they would be afraid of certain certain things in the game, and they would only go to certain areas because of it. It made the game a little more challenging, puzzle wise. But I still played this game for hours on end, and my god, I have fantastic memories with this game. This will be a game that will always stay in my childhood. I think I may have found the game somewhere in my basement back home. If I dug it up and I connected my Xbox 360 to this thing, I would probably play it for y'all. But yeah, that's Lego Indiana Jones. Freaking incredible game. I will never forget it. Now the next game. The next game is going to be a game that I think you all will know and love with all your heart. Just as I do. Boom. We have Call of Duty Black Ops. Now Call of Duty Black Ops. This was the first first-person shooter that I ever owned. My parents, when I was younger, they were very overprotective when it came to video games, and they found out that the games made by Treyarch could have all the gore and violence filtered out through some certain mode, and all the gore and cursing filtered out. And so they made me turn that mode on every time I played, but Jesus Christ, this was a fantastic play for me. I do remember playing a little bit of the campaign. I don't really remember all the story, which is why I'm going to be playing it pretty soon. Keep an eye out for that. But this game made up a huge chunk of my childhood. I played it with all my middle school friends. I played it with all my neighborhood friends. I would play zombies for hours. I would go to my friend's house. We would play zombies on split screen for hours on end. Try to just freaking last as long as we could. And it was just a freaking amazing time. And then I would play multiplayer with friends from middle school, and then that's where I first heard about the shit talking in all the Call of Duty lobbies, which is, it's its own special little thing. But yeah, this game made up a huge chunk of my childhood. I would give it a 9 or a 10 out of 10. Freaking incredible game. Now the next game is a little slice of heaven. This game is another huge proponent of my childhood, and I will cherish this game with all my heart. I'm not sure if I should play it again. I kind of want to play it again for the channel, but I've played it 1,000 times. I know what happens. But maybe I will. Maybe I will. And this game is Batman Arkham Asylum. Now the first time I ever even heard about this game, I was watching The Dark Knight with my dad. We had finally gotten it on DVD, and he was watching The Dark Knight for the first time in my life. And when we started up the DVD, a trailer for this game played on the previews for the movie, and I was incredibly interested. And a couple years after that, Arkham City came out, and I wanted that even more when I heard about it. So I asked my parents, I asked my mom and my dad for Christmas, can I get Batman Arkham City? And they said, sure thing. I opened up my presents on Christmas morning, and instead of Arkham City, they gave me Arkham Asylum. Kind of a little mix-up, but I was still pleased nevertheless. I absolutely fell in love with this game. The combat, the environment of Arkham Asylum, the voice acting, including the guy who played the Joker, Mark motherfucking Hamill, nonetheless. Incredible voice acting by Kevin Conroy for Batman and Mark Hamill for the Joker. The freaking iconic voice actors that will just never fail these characters. They will absolutely never fail these characters, and I'm sure if they could, they would play these characters for as long as they live. And I fell in love with the gameplay, the horror aspects, with like the Scarecrow, freaking incredible. Now our next game, since we talked about Arkham Asylum, yeah, we're obviously going to talk about Batman Arkham City. Another fantastic entrance in the Batman Arkham franchise. Now, like I said, when I was younger, I asked for Batman Arkham City for Christmas, and instead my parents gave me Arkham Asylum. But I saved up and bought Arkham City through the later years of my years in middle school, and oh my god, just an absolute masterpiece. I can't. It's really hard to find any flaws in this game. The combat, once again, just the combat was more improved since the last game. Just the atmosphere. My God, the atmosphere of Arkham City, with all the big bad villains kept in this one contained part of Gotham City. And the premise, I mean, the premise is a little strange, but the overall story, holy shit, the overall story was freaking incredible. We talk about Batman going into this closed off part of the city where literally all the criminals are contained, and he pretty much has to last all night stuck in this city with only criminals. Freaking incredible premise. But if y'all ever wanna know the ending to this game, maybe I'll play it. But the ending to this game is a bone-chilling ending. When I was younger, I gasped out loud at that ending. Freaking incredible, and once again, freaking incredible performances by Kevin Conroy as Batman, and incredible performance by Mark Hamill as the Joker. I mean, you'll honestly never. This is probably one of the greatest duos in a video game ever that you will probably ever hear about. Now, this next game, you may be thinking, "What, Rex? Why would you even put this in the list?" Because this game, even though some games may be good, may be bad, they all have a special place in our heart. And this game in particular has a very, very special place in my heart. And that is Destiny. Now, if you know anything about the gaming industry, this game came out after Bungie sort of like lost the rights to Halo, I think. They sold them to, I think they sold them to 343 Industries, and that's who now makes Halo. But what they made after they lost Halo, I mean, they didn't really have much to go on, so they created this. They created Destiny. Now, people were interested in this game, to say nonetheless, at E3. I was interested when I saw this game at E3. And it came out around when I was like maybe freshman or sophomore year in high school, I think. And it was through this game, and it was at a time where I had moved to a new high school. I was having a little bit of trouble making friends, but I made a really good friend through this game, and we would talk for hours. We would talk for hours about this game. We would go online with each other, and we'd play strikes together. We didn't have enough people for raids, which raids are really, really all the rage in Destiny 1 and 2. But we still had a fantastic time nonetheless. I also have longtime friends who I still play Destiny 2 with to this day. But Destiny 1 always has a special place in my heart. I had just got a PlayStation 4. I didn't have many games, and I bought this game, and I had a freaking amazing time in it. I remember fighting the Cabal on Mars or the Hive on the Moon, and beating the overall story. There was still so much more content that was added. The Taken King DLC, what else? Rise of Iron. Rise of Iron, that was another fantastic DLC. I mean, they had incredible downloadable content for this game, and they just kept on releasing more and more. And to this day in Destiny 2, they continue to release more, which I absolutely love. And even though Destiny 1 didn't really have a really big player base, and Destiny 2 got off to a rocky start, Destiny has grown as a community overall, and we have characters in the lore that we all know and love, or we all know and hate. Aldrin. But I mean, Jesus, this game really has a special place in my heart, and I will forever love this game. Now, the next game is also another game that, I mean, all these games have a special place in my heart, but this one has its own giant an enormous special place in my heart. And that is Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Now, I remember the Black Ops 2 trailer. I was sitting on the floor of my middle school with my friends, and we were waiting for the first classes of the morning to start. And this trailer came out right before summer break had started. And we were immediately hyped when we saw the trailer. We were immediately excited. And when we all got this game to play together, we spent endless hours on this. We spent endless hours on multiplayer, team deathmatch, search and destroy. Just the futuristic aspect of the story of the multiplayer was freaking incredible, and I still remember the story to this day. If I ever do regain the money and I have the money to buy it on Steam, I'll buy it so that we can play it together as a walkthrough. But I remember the story vividly. It's an incredible campaign, and I played it maybe like 10-20 times over, trying to get different endings because it's a multiple ending game. Just freaking incredible story. And zombies, holy shit, zombies was really good. Not as good as Black Ops 3 zombies, mind you, but still freaking fantastic. I remember my friends, he would save the zombies maps on a USB drive, and then he'd come over to my house when we would spend overnights together, and he'd plug the USB drive into the Xbox, and we'd be able to play the maps that he bought on his Xbox account. It was a freaking incredible game. I will love it with all my heart. Now this next game, you all know where I'm going with this. Once I post this next game, you guys are immediately gonna know what the last game is. So just let's get into it. Boom. We have here, you will recognize the helmet. Shit. We have here Doom 2016. Now Doom 2016 obviously came out in 2016, but it didn't really appear on my radar until around 2018, 2019, during my freshman year of college. And I remember looking at Markiplier playing this game, and I thought, wow, this game looks pretty good. I might buy it. And I would say it's probably one of the greatest purchases I've ever made in my life. And then it got me more invested in the history of Doom and how it really just put first-person shooters on the map. It was the second first-person shooter ever to be created, and it really put first-person shooters on the map and made them really fun for people to play. But I remember just having an incredible time playing with this game. The gameplay, the environments, and most of all, for me, the soundtrack by none other than the master himself, Mick motherfucking Gordon, who will remain, to me, in my opinion, probably the greatest game soundtrack composer of all time. This game soundtrack gets me going every single time I play the game, and I play this game and I play the soundtrack every single time I work out. And Jesus Christ, that soundtrack, it gets me going, makes me want to get another rep of bench press in, makes me want to run another mile, makes me want to get another minute of planks in. Freaking incredible when it comes to working out, and it's changed the way I work out, and it's made me the fit motherfucker I am today. So like I said, I picked Doom as this last game. Y'all know what next game I'm gonna pick. Doom Eternal. Now I played Doom Eternal on my channel for y'all, and I had an absolute blast playing it. And I also played the DLCs. I played Ancient Gods Part 1 and Ancient Gods Part 2. I suffered through those with all the suffering in hell. But it was an incredible experience, and because of these expansions, because of the heart and soul that id Software put into this game, it will forever remain my favorite and, in my opinion, the best first-person shooter to ever exist. Just the environments were a step up from the last game. In Doom 2016, all the environments were either just like in a red or black or gray color palette. Whereas in this game, the environments are much more colorful, they're much more vivid, and the movement and the gameplay in this game is freaking incredible. They really do emphasize in this game, if you stop moving, you will die. You have to remain on the move at all times to survive. And really, it's just a given fact. If you stop moving, you're gonna die. They gave you a lot of versatility with the meat hook, with the double boost, and with the double jump in the air, and all the swinging, all the platforming. They gave you a lot more maneuverability. They definitely put a lot more heart and soul into the story and the lore. The lore, which is freaking incredible. The story you won't really understand if you just play the game regularly, but if you pick up the lore pages throughout the game and you read the lore, you'll start to understand the story, and it's actually a decent story, pretty decent story. But Jesus Christ, this will forever remain my favorite game of all time. I will play this game probably till the day I die. So yeah, these are pretty much the games that have made me the person that I am today. Doom Eternal, Doom 2016, Destiny, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones, and Black Ops. Just freaking incredible games that will forever remain in my heart, and they made me the person that I am today. Thank you all so very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hey, watch out for those wrist rockets.